So let's get back to that breaking news that we were talking about. This is out of central Georgia. 3 people confirmed dead, about a dozen sent to the hospital after a possible riot at the Washington State Prison. So this is what we know. The minimum security facility is about 2.5 hours southeast of Atlanta. Washington County Sheriff Joel Cochran says it all started when fights broke out among the inmates.
I got a couple homies love me, couple homies hate me, couple motherfuckers wanna fade me, but they hella shaky. This ain't Parker Brothers, I ain't playing. Move, just let me land. I'm on YouTube chasing all these bands. That's the master plan. Teach a couple lessons, then expand. Can't no go ahead. Reaching people all in Bethlehem. Damn. Reaching people all in Bethlehem. What's cracking, YouTube? And how's everyone doing? This is the Unchained Podcast, and I am Kano3, your host and your guide through these streets. Let me take you on a journey. Now check this out. On Sunday afternoon, a major riot broke out amongst inmates at the Washington State Prison in Davisboro, Georgia. That's a medium security facility holding about 1,500 men. The clash amongst inmates began around 1:25 p.m. and escalated quickly, with the guard being subdued and her keys to the visiting area taken by the inmates. Guards and prison staff responded and brought it under control around 3 p.m. But by that time, there was already 3 inmates dead and 12 others injured. All the visiting kids, wives, mothers, grandparents, cousins, friends, whoever was there visiting people, all of them got out unharmed. Although one of the COs did get injured, but the injuries was non-threatening, so they said that she gonna be all right, you know what I'm saying? So what the authorities is trying to say is they believe that this is gang related from ongoing beef that been going on and escalating throughout the past couple of months. As far as right now, they're doing their investigations, and the facility's gonna remain on lockdown until they figure out what's going on. All right, so let's see what the news had to say about this shit.
An investigation is underway tonight as 3 inmates are dead and a correctional officer injured. That's after an altercation at the Washington State Prison Sunday night. The men and the prison are on the screen behind me right here. Ahmad Hatcher, Jimmy Trammell, and Teddy Jackson died in what officials believe was a gang-related fight. Hatcher was serving 20 years related to an aggravated assault from here in Richmond County. Jimmy Trammell was serving 20 years for first-degree burglary out of Fulton County, and Teddy Jackson was serving 10 years for aggravated assault in Bibb County.
Hold on. All right, bro, I ain't gonna lie. Don't go to jail in no Georgia. They breaking y'all off out there. Did she say 20 years for aggravated assault and 20 years for burglary? Man, unless these dudes is career criminals or something like that, that's crazy. They whacking y'all over the head in Georgia. Dang.
Maggie Fitzgerald reports from the Washington State Prison tonight.
Inside Washington State Prison, a Sunday brawl left 3 inmates dead and families searching for answers.
She sound
but an
weird.
eyewitness telling us today it all happened inside the prison's visitation area, where she says a group of inmates burst through the door, bloodied and armed, leaving visitors scrambling.
It's really just now hitting me how dangerous it really was, how much worse it could have been.
Tonight, an eyewitness says
Imagine that.
it all happened in seconds. A routine Sunday visit with a loved one at Washington State Prison turning into a nightmare. The witness asked to remain anonymous for her safety, but she says something felt off when she saw guards bolt out of the visitation area Sunday afternoon, leaving 1 female officer
When you hear this,
inside.
Something going on, we heard.
all the male officers bolted out of the visiting room, left the women and children there to fend from themselves, while these savage gangbangers are bursting through the visiting area with weapons. I mean, I'm not shocked because, as many of you know, if you follow my page, yeah, I'm an ex-con. So yeah, I done been in the situations where you already know ain't no COs coming to save you. You better save yourself. You know what I mean? And if you don't, if you powered up and you curl up, you might meet the same fate as these three young men. And this is crazy.
Very loud, almost yelling coming from the walkie-talkies. You could hear her say, "Don't open that door, you can't come in here."
Shouting from the guard, first directed at inmates deeper into the facility, then to visitors, telling them to get out. The witness says the group overpowered a guard, taking
Get
his
out!
to then break into the visiting room.
The prisoners that were trying to come through the door were right behind her, hot on her heels, because there's blood and weapons, and they just busted through a door. They're standing between us and our loved ones.
The riot-style attack left 3 men dead, including 23-year-old Ahmad Hatcher. Hatcher's
Young
family
man.
says they are demanding answers and accountability.
And this is exactly why we do this stuff. This is a young man with his whole life ahead of him. Made a mistake, went to prison, lost his life. This is exactly why most of these prison YouTube creators, we tell our stories and we do this. Everybody always say, hey, y'all glorifying this shit. And we not. We trying to show y'all little young, dumb. You want to get behind them bars? Trust me. I'm 6'5", almost 300 pounds. And I was scared back there. I ain't no coward and I'm gonna get cracking for mine. But when you're in a situation where you know they could call your number at any time and you out of here. I don't care how big you are, you ain't gonna be able to win. That's why we try to tell you little dudes, man, think twice about this shit.
Claiming he had warned his mother about unsafe conditions inside the prison.
A piece of my heart just was torn out of my chest. He was scared of his life.
Look at this young dude.
My son to get killed because they wasn't doing their job.
And Sheriff Joel Cochran says the scene was secure and all inmates were accounted for by 6 p.m. on Sunday. The GDC is investigating.
As y'all can see, that's how the cookie crumbles. When you get behind these bars, when you hit them prison yards, yeah, I know everyone's scared of them level 4s and everyone's scared of them 180s. This is what happened on a medium minimum security yard. Basically a camp. 3 people dead, 12 injured. Just trying to tell you, every prison is dangerous. It don't matter. Oh, that's a week. That's Camp Snoopy. All right. Get caught with the lock in the sock. Get caught in the visiting room lollygagging. All right. Just try to tell everybody. Tell you youth. Stay the hell out of jail, man. This is crazy. And what was one of them individuals, I think today, while I'm recording this video, was supposed to be his release date. Instead, he went to go visit his family. One last visit before I come home and change my life. And look what happened to him.
In front of the Greyhound bus station where they were set to have a family reunion on Wednesday. They had it all planned out. Jimmy Trammell, who's going to be released from that prison in Washington County, catch a bus here to this Greyhound bus station and start his new life. But he was killed 4 days before his release.
He did 10 years in his prison and he didn't make it home.
Home. It's where 42-year-old Jimmy Trammell expected to be Wednesday after 10 years as an inmate with the Georgia Department of Corrections for felony burglary charges.
He was going to be taking the bus back here and he needed to be picked up on the bus station. And I was gonna pick him up from the bus station, but I didn't get that chance.
According to Aquinas, his brother Jimmy Trammell was killed Sunday as fights broke out in the Washington State Prison in Washington County. Trammell is one of 3 inmates who were killed. The Department of Corrections saying Ahmoud Hatcher and Teddy Jackson are the other 2 inmates. At least 13 other inmates and a corrections officer were injured. Aquinas got a call from the warden in the early hours of Monday morning.
She just said he was involved in an altercation and he lost his life.
For Aquinas and Trammell, the past 10 years.
And that's all you gonna get. And that's all you gonna get. Mothers, brothers, sons, kids. And that's all they gonna give you. Phone call. Even if you, that's if you even get a phone call. I done heard of incidents where they just burying people on the prison property, not even giving a family proper reason or proper authority to mourn, to grab their people and bury them properly. No. So you even lucky that you even got a phone call that said that he was involved in a riot and and ended up losing his life. You know, because I done heard a bunch of incidents, like specifically in like Mississippi, like Louisiana, you know, like them type of places. Like, man, you go to some prisons down that way. But that's all I'm just trying to tell y'all.
Years have been rough. They lost both of their parents and 2 siblings, but Trammell's release was a chance at a second life, the turning of a new leaf.
He talked about proving to me a better side of him than what I know, and that was taken away from me. And I need answers. I really do.
The Department of Corrections say this all started as an altercation on a sidewalk between inmates that were a part of gangs. Within 2 hours, though, they say they had this under control. But Trammell's family now obviously planning a funeral instead of a reunion. We're now live here downtown. I'm Candace McCowan for Channel 2 Action.
We need to start taking accountability for the shit that we do. You know, this was all us. Hey, you already locked up. And now, on top of being locked up, you done ransacked the guard, stole the keys, broke into the visiting area, had women and children screaming for their lives, running out, and then you went up in there and unalived 3 of their loved ones and injured the rest. I understand. But there's a time and a place for everything. I don't even know what the time or the place for this shit would have been. This is ridiculous. You know, we need to take responsibility. We need to hold these niggas accountable. That's not for me to do. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm speaking honestly, this is almost equivalent to the shit that happened up in Stockton. This is almost equivalent to that. You ran up in the visiting room. Some things are sacred, I thought. But I guess, you know, nowadays, rules, loyalty, respect, those things, some of these things are just out the window. You know, and I feel sorry for you kids that's coming up. You're gonna have to, these are your people. You're gonna have to deal with these fools. I can't do nothing but try to show you my mistakes, hope that you learn something. If you don't, you don't. If you do, you do. I mean, look at y'all. Running up in the visits, going to baby showers. And what's wrong with y'all? The youth, get it together. You know, when I was coming up, they had a phrase, the youth is our future. If this is our future, we're doomed. You guys need to get it together, man. Man, it's Blue Cheese Entertainment. You already know what this is. It's Kano 3. I'm signing off from the pirate shit. Let's get it.